Well, hi, friends. It was Mother's Day yesterday, and I want to wish all the mothers out there happy Mother's Day. I'm not a mother, but it was so wonderful even just being here because we had worship, I believe, our devotion. I think it was on Friday, and one of my friends took me aside and she said, Stacy, she says, and I didn't realize it was Mother's Day. And she's telling me this. She's like, I know you're not a mother, but there's all these children here. And you really are a mother to them. She says, this is your family, and these children are yours, and you are a mother. So I just wanted you to know that today, that you really are a mother because you have those those instincts and you care for the children here. And that's what a mother does. And I didn't realize why she was talking to me until after the devotion. And I was outside with one of my patients. She's getting ready to go home, and they brought me, everybody was coming out with flowers, all the mothers, right? Everybody, all mothers got flowers that day. And I saw that, I was like, yeah, I know, it's kind of a bummer because I'm like, yeah, I'm not a mother, but I'll survive. And then here comes my friend's son, and he comes up to me, and he's got a flower, and he says, and this is for you. I said, oh, this is for me? And he said, yeah, this is for you. So I was like, aw, I was very touched. So I actually had a very good Mother's Day. I got to spend it with somebody else's mother, which was awesome. I didn't get to spend it with my mom, but I did call her. And I miss my mom. She's back in Wisconsin, and she's doing really good. But I had a wonderful Mother's Day. But it reminded me of a really awesome chapter in the Ministry of Healing, and it's on actually mothers. And I wanted to read just a little bit. I'm not going to make this video too long, but it really gives us pause to think about the job of a mother, and how God created the mother. Now listen to this. What the parents are, that to be a great extent, the children will be. The physical conditions of the parents, their dispositions and appetites, their mental and moral tendencies are to a greater and less degree reproduced in their children. And we see that every day. What's the result of the children that we see today? They're the result of the parents who we've got divorce, we've got out of wedlock children being born. There's just so much. I mean, the world has changed, and these children are being raised with three dads and two moms, and or the mom and dad, they both work because they have to put meat uh, food on the table. And it's not like how I grew up. My dad went to work and my mom stayed home, and we really had a family unit. We ate at the dinner table every night. My mom stayed home and cared for the house. And when the women's movement came in, when feminism came in, that was the end of the family unit. It really destroyed the sanctity of marriage and the beauty of what God created. And he created two sexes to be very distinctly different and have different roles. And that's a beautiful thing. The nobler the aim, the higher the mental and spiritual endowments, and the better development the physical powers of the parents, the better will be the life equipment they give their children. In cultivating that which is best in themselves, parents are exerting an influence to mold society and uplift future generations. So, just so important. So, as this goes on, it talks a little bit about the mother. It says, especially does responsibility rest upon the mother. Now listen to this. She by whose life blood the child is nourished and its physical frame built up, imparts to it also mental and spiritual influences that tend to the shaping of mind and character. The mother has a very, very big responsibility. And we have Mother's Day to honor that mother and her job as a mother. But we've lost a lot of that in society. But there's still good mothers out there. And this is something that maybe will as a mother, maybe prompt you to really think about, am I doing these things with my child right now today? Am I spending that time? I am the lifeblood for my child. You're the lifeblood. Are you seeing it that way? It was Jochebed, the Hebrew mother, who, strong in faith, was not afraid of the king's commandment. This is Hebrews 11:23, of whom was born Moses, the deliverer of Israel. It was Hannah, the woman of prayer and self-sacrifice and heavenly inspiration, who gave birth to Samuel, the heaven-instructed child, the incorruptible judge, the founder of Israel's sacred schools. It was Elizabeth, the kinswoman and kindred spirit of Mary of Nazareth, who was the mother of the Savior's herald. So, your child, as a mother, you have a spiritual influence and a mental influence into that child's character. Because look at these women of the Bible and what they raised. It says here, and this is really important, the carefulness with which the mother should guard her habits of life is taught in the scriptures. When the Lord would raise up Samson as a deliverer for Israel, the angel of Jehovah appeared to the mother with special instructions concerning her habits and also for the treatment of her child. Beware, he said, and now drink no more wine nor strong drink, neither eat anything unclean. The effect of prenatal influence is by many parents looked upon as a matter of little moment, but the heaven does not so regard it. But heaven, and the message sent by the angel of God and twice given in the most solemn manner shows it to be deserving of our most careful thought. So as a mother, you see there is a spiritual connection. Even your prenatal influence on your child. This was a messenger of God who was coming to Samson's mother, giving Samson's mother special instruction. Don't drink. Don't drink anymore. And that was a divine message. So, I don't know if mothers recognize that there is a divine influence over her and her child if she allows it. And God, who gives good instruction, will give good instruction to the mother. Here's a little bit more. It talks about overwork. The strength of the mother should be tenderly cherished. Instead of spending her precious strength in exhausting labor, her care and burden should be lessened. Often the husband and father is unacquainted with the physical laws which the well-being of his family requires him to understand. This is where the husband comes in. Absorbed in the struggle for a livelihood or bent on acquiring wealth and pressed with cares and perplexities, he allows to rest upon the wife and mother burdens that overtax her strength at the most critical period and causes feebleness and disease. There's a great connection between overwork, too much labor, too much burden, and we know the disease, right? Being worn out, feeble, frail, weak, exhausted. And all that breaks down our life force and it causes us to get sick. So in that marriage, the father also has to recognize that there's a lot of burden put on the mother. And it needs to be balanced with the husband. And if it's not, and we see this today, if one parent is working way too hard and the other one isn't, or you have a husband that all he does is work, and comes home and everything's on the mother, it's cause for disruption and disunity and disharmony, and it affects the children. Many a husband and father might learn a helpful lesson from the carefulness of the faithful shepherd. Jacob, when urged to undertake a rapid and difficult journey, made answer. Now listen to what he said. The children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure. In life's toilsome way, let the husband and father lead on softly, as the companion of his journey is able to endure. Amidst the world's eagle rush for wealth and power, let him learn to stay his steps, to comfort and support the one who is called to walk by his side. So it's not just the mother, but it's also the father. So I could read on and on today, but I'm going to close here and get this uploaded. Because it was Mother's Day yesterday, I want to bring it back to, it's not just a day to give presents to your mom and make her something wonderful, and that's all fine and dandy. But there is a spiritual element to the job of the mother, to the labor of the mother, and the responsibility that she has with raising those children. And mothers, we need to recognize that you have such influence and such responsibility. Are you really walking in that spiritually? Because it all rests on God. It all rests on Jesus, our Savior. We first put our burdens on Him. And if we can't do that, we can't be an effective parent. We can't. Because then we're carrying the load of our children, and we're carrying the load of the Father. And that's the Father up there. So often, in order to be an effective parent, we have to get to a place where we have to let it go. And that means letting go of those burdens so that our children can be raised by God and then guided by us, the parents. And then our spiritual influence will have a positive effect, because we can't give anything back if we are carrying a load, because we're ineffective. If we can't lean on the Savior, our children can't learn to lean on the Savior. And if our husbands can't learn to be led by God, they can't lead the family. Not effectively. So you see the power that faith has, and the power of Christ in our lives. So as a family unit, it's so important. It spills down to the children then. We want to raise up good, healthy children. There's a hierarchy, and it starts with God. And children, they also have the responsibility to honor thy mother and thy father. No matter what the parent has done, we have to recognize that parents are broken people too. They are sinners. And we always think that parents read the book on how to be a parent, and they're supposed to be perfect because the grass is always greener on the other side with the other parents, right? But as children, we have to learn to understand that our parents are just people. And they too need to be led by Christ. And they too have sinned and have done things wrong, and have probably done things wrong to you. Maybe terrible things. Maybe there's been abuse, mentally, physically, sexually, whatever it is. Maybe you've been abandoned. Maybe, there's a list of things. Unfairness, one child getting all the attention, the other child being left. Yes, your parents are broken sinners, just like you. But God tells us to honor our parents, and there's a reason. Because again, if we can't honor God, how are we going to honor our parents? And we have to honor our parents because it honors God. You see that? If we're not walking in obedience, and we're looking at our parents and we're saying, well, they're messed up and they messed me up and I'm never going to forgive them, and you're angry and you hate them and they abandon you, whatever it is. Okay, we get that. We get that they're messed up. But it's not about them, it's about your walk with the Lord. And He forgave you. You need to forgive them, and you need to honor them. And you can only honor them through Christ and His power, and by walking in that forgiveness that Christ gives you and you have obtained. You see how that all works? It's a beautiful flow chart that God designed. And when we don't follow it as mothers and fathers and children, the system becomes broke. And that's the world we're living in today. A broken family system. But there's great hope because of Jesus. And all things can be mended and all things can be healed, including families. But it starts with your relationship with Christ. If you don't let go and let God and deny yourself and come to the foot of the cross, your family will never heal. And the brokenness and the strongholds will never let go. You have the power through Christ. But you have free will to choose. So choose wisely. All right. Happy Mother's Day.